Hey, fabulous people and purpose driven founders. Welcome to another electric episode of The Founders Fire, where heart meets hustle and dreams get down to business. I'm your host, Ankita, and today we are deep diving into a topic that's shaking up boardrooms, Zoom calls, and whiteboards everywhere: how to build an AI first organization.
How many of you here are already AI gurus? Type guru in the chat box for me, please. And Karthik, if you could just spotlight us. Great. Shaurya is already a guru. Fabulous. Do we have any more gurus out here? Okay, amazing. Thank you. And how many of you here get sleepless nights thinking about how to implement AI in your organization? Please type sleepless in in the chat box. Any sleep? Excellent. We have Manju who's having sleepless nights thinking about it. Thank you so much. And thank you, everybody, for being here and spending the next hour with us. Do keep your videos on and do engage with us in the chat box so that we can have a real conversation. And that's what this is about. So that we keep this informative, fun, and engaging for all of us, and so that we can make the most of our time over here. Yes, please type yes in the chat box. I see a lot more sleepless people. Sakshi, Shivani. Awesome. Good. You're in the right place. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So, today we're not just going to be talking about robots and buzzwords. We are going to talk about how you, yes, you, the bold bootstrapper or budget watching boss, can actually harness AI to work smarter, solve real business headaches, and still sleep at night. And to help us make more sense of this brave new world of artificial intelligence, we have with us a woman who is part oracle, part operator, and all out inspiring. My dear friend and college mate, please welcome the phenomenal Trupti Hede. Karthik, please spotlight Trupti and Trupti.
Hey.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hi, good
Welcome,
afternoon.
Trupti.
Thank you so much, Ankita. Thank you, Zuri. It's lovely being here. Thanks
You
for
all can say
having
hi to
me.
Trupti in the chat box as well. To say hi.
Hi.
Thank you.
Hi, Manju. Hi, everyone.
All right, so I'm going to take
Yes.
this opportune moment to introduce Trupti. Trupti is the Director of Network Sciences, and for over 2 decades, she's worn every hat in the IT and the BFSI world. She's a strategy seller, platform whisperer, and a digital transformation queen and a deep tech evangelist. Wow. From leading projects from global giants at TCS to now helping startups and enterprises actually adopt AI in the way that it works. Trupti is a bridge builder between tech and business, between possibility and execution. She believes in collaboration over competition, in a soulful leadership, and that tech should serve humanity, not the other way around. Let's give her a warm Zach style welcome by dropping a heart emoji in the chat box.
Thank you so much. I think Ankita, Zareed, I just have to say that one, of course, I absolutely connect to the thought process that you bring onto the table, adding heart to business. I mean, that's something I keep saying that it's such a beautiful thought and such a need of the hour, has always been and will always be. But I think, yes, it's definitely the truth. And I think the second very important point that I want to bring on before we start the conversation, that I have tremendous respect for all the founders that I see here today who are here. I mean, it takes nerves of steel to be thinking that you can go out there and do something on your own. The loneliness, the responsibility, the accountability. It's just tremendous courage. Tremendous courage to be there on your own and try and do something like this. So please
Yeah,
accept this.
absolutely. A big
Yeah,
round of applause from all of us to all of you out here today. It's not easy, and it's heartwarming to see everybody on this platform.
absolutely. And I think this is just a small way of for me to show my gratitude to this community, that if I can help even a single person here try and navigate this choppy waters a little better, it would be, this 1 hour has been worth it, absolutely worth it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Trupti, for saying that and sharing that, because it is a tough journey for so many entrepreneurs. And by just helping navigate the AI world, which is so choppy these days, and everybody from Insta to LinkedIn, which is full of AI, and you're like wondering what to use, what not to use, what to like, how do you skirt this? How do you
Absolutely.
So thanks for your time. So let's first demystify AI. So very basic questions, right? What does
Yeah.
AI first even mean? Is it just hype, or is it already there, or does it also mean like everybody in the organization should know Chat GPT and Midjourney and you're good to go?
I think that should be an excellent place to start off, Ankita. Yes, I think first and foremost, it's far from hype. It's something that's here, something that's we need to obviously be cognizant about. And I think the most important point that I'd like to put across is it's something that need not overwhelm us. I think that's definitely point one that we get started with. And yes, of course, now that we've spoken about that, it's a fundamental shift in how businesses operate, right? And it's of course innovation, it's very much here at the core. If I look at what do we mean by AI first, it basically means prioritizing the usage of artificial intelligence to accomplish tasks, to drive decisions, and to foster innovation, rather than just solely relying on it to to do a existing task a little better. Or let's say, for example, I have a traditional process, I'm just going to use AI to make it a little better, a little faster, or a little cost effective. That's, I think, the fundamental difference between an AI first organization and a tech led organization which is trying to adopt AI into its day to day, into its operations, right? So essentially, if I can give a very fundamental, a very simple example that we see in our day-to-day life. Think of a tech-first organization which has a website, but now wants to, let's say, okay, there's so much of hype about an AI chatbot. Let me just put an AI chatbot onto my website. It's an existing website. Let me put onto an AI. Just let me get an AI chatbot there. However, when we look at an AI first strategy, I'm going to redesign my entire customer journey with the help of AI. As to how is that, it's going to be an AI enabled customer journey. And in the process, I'm going to work matrix backward to see what is that I want to achieve as an outcome with the help of, in the function of customer engagement.
Can you
If
give
it
us an
then
example in that, Tripti? So, for example, with like an example in terms of this, right? So, a customer
okay.
journey, there is an XYZ process that happens. Can you just break it down and make it a little easier for us to understand that?
Sure. For example, let's say if we can break down the order tracking for us, right?
Yes, yes.
Earlier, what would happen is you would the existing order tracking system remains as is. What we do is we put a chatbot over it. It just reads where the order is right now, and every time me as a customer, I want to figure out where my delivery is, I would have to. The chatbot would go look at the status and then say. So, for example, I ask, okay, where is this particular delivery for me? The chatbot would respond, it is right now in transit. That's how a typical
Hmm.
traditional IT company would possibly look at AI. What has it done? It's just put a retrieval bot there, right? Which just
Yes.
understands language. It just reads my question and translates it into a query. On the other hand, think of it as an AI enabled user journey.
Hmm.
I would like complete transparency for my customer to know about when the order is reaching them. A complete transparency about where the product is, where the what is the current status, and when can the customer expect the product to reach the doorsteps. Here, what I do is there is again in this there is a very strong angle of hyper personalization which is brought into. For somebody like me, Trupti, I love to be kept in, know of where my order is. So let's assume I'm getting a regular notification. Okay, now your order is left. Now your order is here. You're going to expect your product, in let's say a couple of hours, so on and so forth. That keeps me happy, and I love that engagement that I'm having with my particular, e-commerce website.
Hmm.
Somebody, let's say like a Zareen, is not interested in so many notifications, and me as an AI first organization, I understand this. That Zareen doesn't want to be bombarded with 10 notifications. At the same time, Zareen would like to know important details about her order because it's a critical order, right? There, what we do is instead of having Zareen sent out 10 SMSs or emails, I'm going to do it at important, milestones. And that's making sure I'm aligned with what Zareen expects from the e-commerce website and not just bombarding her with every notification. So here what we're doing is we're designing the user journey basis what Zareen wants to see. It's also hyper personalized. It is also catering to all your asks and requirements and keeping you informed proactively. There's no
Right.
need for you to go on to the chatbot and ask, where is my, where is so on and so forth. So that's the fundamental difference here, Zareen, where we're saying that, in one
Excellent.
place, we're actually designing the user journey basis on what I know what you would like, or I can predict what you like, and so on and so forth. And on the other hand, what I know I like, what this other customer would like or not like.
Thank you so much, Trupti. That makes a lot of sense. And here we're talking about user journeys and strategies. What about the mindset, right? From a founder perspective, what
Yeah.
is an AI mindset? And I love what Shaurya has said. They said, as of now, AI is still unknown. What we're witnessing now is just algorithms doing his job, right? And it is going
Yeah,
to get smarter.
yeah,
But in terms of
absolutely.
mindset, right? What is an AI first mindset and what is a tech enabled mindset in the founder's mind? And that's the
Right.
place that we need to make that shift for all of us in
Correct.
this room today.
Absolutely. I absolutely agree. I think it's a very crucial distinction, and it often gets blurred. Like everything else, it's pretty much a gray area. And yes, more so when it comes to AI and tech, and there's always comparison which keeps happening. Now, let's say, for example, when I talk about in tech-enabled businesses, uh, let me take a simple example of somebody, let's say, has a workshop, okay, and they're planning to get a set of powerful tools for their workshop. Now, the workshop is something that have already been designed. It's already in place. It's there. There's work happening there for long. Now, what I'm doing is now because I want to go tech first, I want to innovate, or I want to, get, scale up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get more powerful set of tools. Now, how do these tools work? They will help me do my current processes in the same better, in a slightly better manner, right? Think about when I say an AI first mindset, it's not about how do I automate or how do I AIfy my existing workshop. I'm going to design my workshop around what AI can do, right? So in that, then I think of again, I keep coming back to the point of matrix first instead of problem backward,
Yeah.
right? So I'm sure, I mean, you are in this field of strategy and you understand how important being matrix first is. So what do we do is from a AI first, thought process, get the matrix in place,
Now,
and
Tripti, you'll have to
now,
explain what matrix first is. We
okay,
have a lot of
cool, cool.
people in this room from different places. Manju is a farmer
Okay.
and he has a super amazing farming business.
Oh, lovely, lovely, lovely.
So
Okay.
He might want to know, and I also want to know what is a
Sure,
matrix
sure, sure.
first.
Definitely, definitely. Sorry for assuming that. So this is see, matrix first, a problem backward. These are terminologies we typically use when we're talking about AI implementations. Problem forward, or problem based solution. When we say solutioning around a problem, it's typically like I have a problem statement and I want to solve that using AI,
Mm.
right? I keep coming back to the customer engagement because all of us in our day-to-day,
Yes.
life has used customer engagement, AI bots, and all of that.
Yes.
A problem first approach would be something like my customers are getting frustrated when they're talking to people, or they're not. The customer engagement is not available 24/7. How do I solve that problem? That thought process is okay, get AI agents who will be available 24/7, feed them a certain set of answers, and they will cater to
Yes.
every kind of problem statement that is going
Guilty of that thought process. I am.
on. Right. Okay. Now look at it from a matrix first perspective. I have a matrix wherein my CSAT has to be a 90%. How does
Customer
that
satisfaction score has to be at
Yes,
90%.
exactly. Now, what do we do to get my customer satisfaction survey output as 90%? There are multiple steps, right? Having the customer service agent available 24 by 7 is one part of the story.
Yes.
But there are so many other aspects which are going to lead to a stronger CSAT, right? That's the thought process difference that we're talking about. Instead of saying, I have a problem, but instead of traditional tech, I'm going to use AI to solve it, I say, this is where I want my business to be. Now I'm going to see how can AI enable me to get to that matrix.
Yeah, I
That's
love
the
that.
fundamental
I
difference
love
that
that
we're
because
talking about.
otherwise you're asking AI to solve a problem which you had thought of in a more traditional tech and tradition. Imagine tech and traditional in the same
Yeah.
right, but
Uh,
right in the traditional form where you're saying I want to solve this problem like this, but the
correct.
whole point is that you don't solve the problem like this. You have to reimagine the whole problem in the first place,
Absolutely.
and now put
Absolutely.
on a different thinking hat and address it
Correct.
from a different lens. I love that
Yeah.
differentiation. It's planted a seed in my head as well. So thank
Yeah.
you, Trupti.
So
How many of
maybe
you found this useful? I just want to ask everybody, have you guys understood this difference? Because it's quite fundamental as us as founders, right? To just rethink the whole process. You're solving it totally differently now. So you can't
yeah,
use the
yeah,
same tools to solve the same problem.
yeah,
Type
yeah. So
yes in the chat box if it's planted a seed in your head that's going to require more inquiry. And
yeah,
that's why we have Tripti here.
yeah.
Amazing.
So
Thank you.
yeah. So Zareen, another very interesting conversation. I mean, another very interesting problem statement that we've seen in this particular state is moving a little bit from personal B2C to maybe a B2B context, right? Typically, we all have sales teams that we all deal with, right? And sales teams fundamental DNA is do not update the CRM for some reason, right? Do not touch the CRM, do not update it. That's the fundamental DNA of a salesperson.
Oh, true.
So how do I, in case of traditional tech, what do? I have a traditional CRM. I add a few AI tools which will help me, let's say, generate a report or tell me that, what is, maybe give me a report on, or maybe draw a dashboard on the existing data, right?
Yes.
Or maybe enable some kind of data updates or something of that
Yes.
sort. Now think of CRM, think of an AI first organization. An AI first organization plans the way the whole sales operations work to the extent that my sales team doesn't have to go to CRM to do an entry. The minute I start a conversation with my client through an email or through a phone call, which is done through our standard, calling mechanisms, that immediately gets identified as an opportunity and a lead into my CRM. So essentially, what is happening is we are connecting multiple toolkits, which otherwise were, independently working in their own
Fragmented.
zones,
Yeah.
fragmented. And again, I would have to go to each of them individually to figure out how to, what is the update and all of that. Here, I'm combining your emails, I'm combining your call records, I'm combining all the other conversations that are going on with the client into who's the client, what is the product that we're selling, who's the account manager,
Absolutely.
when was the last conversation which happened, and what is the next set.
I think I'm in love with this already.
That's fantastic,
मुझे नहीं
actually.
चाहिए
Like,
अभी. Amazing. Thank you for
So
that.
that's exactly. So that's the whole shift in thought process that we're talking about, Zareen. And I think,
that's
yeah,
excellent.
yeah,
So the question that comes is, you've worked in both legacy corporations and scrappy startups. When I say scrappy, I mean the founders who have that jugaad mindset. What are the biggest mindset blocks that you face on a day-to-day basis with the owners who are thinking about AI?
yeah, yeah. I think the first one and the fundamental, the most common one, especially among small businesses or those, obviously everybody with limited resources, is the perception that AI is too expensive, it's too
Yes.
complex, right? While I understand and empathize where they come from, because a lot of large scale AI projects can be costly, right? Running into a few multi-million dollars, and that's absolutely a true. But at the same time, for small businesses and for limited resources, there are multiple AI-based solutions that can make life easy and help us up our game without much of a investment from the monetary perspective. Of course there's time, of course there's thought, there's strategy that needs to go in, because again, like I keep saying, the end goal has to be the metric that we're trying to achieve, and then we walk backwards to see where all AI can fit into the, and where all AI can do the jobs that I would otherwise have to do manually. So
Right.
hence I'm saying the biggest common myth that I see, or the perception that I see, is AI is too expensive and too complex. Inherently in our head, we are the ones who are making it complex. Couple of things: we either want all or nothing. Secondly, we want perfection. If I've, it's like I'm saying, I've implemented AI, so it's a magic pill, it's a magic wand. I do it once and I'm done. I don't have to look at it again.
Mm-hmm.
No, we all know how everything is evolving, and more so AI, right? It's an evolving world. It is going to learn from the tasks that we are asking the AI to do in my business, and that's how there's a steady increase. In a way, there's an exponential improvement happening the minute we connect it to our existing data sets and start using it more and more. So this particular myth is something that I'd definitely like to challenge about AI being too expensive and too complex. Right? It's a long term, it's an investment, it's a long term investment. We can always break it down into smaller pieces and start with quick wins and low hanging fruits. So that's
Right.
something I think we have to fundamentally keep in mind. The
Yeah.
other couple of other things, Zareen, Ankita, that I've seen is fear of job displacements or fear of redundancy that a lot of people have. And this is somewhere at the
Yeah.
mid-tier level. There's a deeply
Yes.
human concern that robots are going to take over. They're going to be. But I think one thing I very genuinely believe in is AI is a creation of human minds, and there is always and always, I fundamentally believe that AI is going to augment the way we live and not replace. And hence, there is tremendous value in automating repetitive tasks, mundane tasks, and freeing up human employees to focus on higher value, creative, and strategic work. And hence, we're saying, like coming back to the customer inquiries, let them handle the mundane ones. The minute we see that, okay, this is something that the AI is.
Escalation, some
Exactly,
complication.
exactly.
Right.
That's where you bring in a very senior resource or a nuanced resource who will then, take the conversation, make sure placate the customer if there's any kind of issue, so on and so forth. That mindset has to be, that's something that we have to inculcate, that AI is not replacing jobs, it is enhancing human capabilities, and it's creating new types of jobs, obviously. We all understand that certain kind of jobs are going to go out of this industry, right? That does
Mm.
not, however, mean that AI is taking away jobs. And that's something we've seen right from centuries, right? When steam engine was brought. I still remember the hype when computers came in. Oh, this is going to take over the world. Humanity is going to now get extinct because computers are going to rule. And today we are all here sitting and happily coexisting with computers. And I'm very, very optimistic of the fact that that's exactly what that is how we're going to do with AI also.
Amazing. And Tripti, when we talk about these use cases, right, we spoke about from, order management and sales and customer
Yeah,
lens.
yeah,
What about productivity in terms of manufacturing and those kind of industries as well, right? How is
absolutely.
AI being used there?
Correct. So, Zareen, just for ease of conversation, we can split AI into some basic level distinctions that I can make. One is generative AI and one is analytical AI,
Yeah,
right?
will you explain that as well
Yeah,
for like
yeah.
difference of both?
So generative AI is essentially helping you generate content or create something new, right? And it's a pretty self-explanatory from the word generative itself, right? So whenever we talk about the chat GPTs of the world, the LLMs of the world,
LLMs, right?
where I'm asking a question, like, write an essay of this for this particular topic. What's
Yes.
essentially doing? It's reading the words in English. It's going back. It has a huge pool of training data wherein multiple people have spoken about this particular topic. It just picks and chooses which statements should fit next to each other, and that's how an essay gets created,
Right,
right?
right.
That's basically my generative AI. So in the generative AI space, we of course have multimodal now. So there is
Yes.
text that you can create voice, you can
Yeah,
create images, you can
images.
create videos, all of that, right? So I think that's the most oft seen and heard and spoken about AI pieces in today's
Yes.
world. On the other hand, we have something called as analytical AI. Now, what is analytical AI? Think about, let's say me and you, we're thinking what's for breakfast today, right? We open the fridge. We see a couple of things. You're connecting the dots that these are two, three, four ingredients that I have. Based on this, I think my breakfast today is going to be an omelette, or it's going to be a vegetable chila, whatever, right? Depending on the availability. So there are a couple of data points that you've seen and you've analyzed and you've come out with an analysis. Think of a scenario wherein you have hundreds of such brains put together and hundreds of such data points, right? In this current example, if I say, what is the food available? What is in my pantry? What is my nutrition requirement? What is the calorie thing that I need? How much time do I have to prepare? What are the resources that I have other than, you could add hundreds and hundreds of data points into it.
Right.
And because I have multiple brains, all of those can be consumed at the same time, some of the time, even in real time, and you get multiple insights.
Got it.
Right? That becomes analytical AI. So think of analytical AI as somebody who's joined the dots and giving you an output and converting that data points and drawing the connections and giving you insights out of it, right? So you can make sense of the data that you have. So that's analytical AI. Now, usage of these two categories of AI that we see differ from industry to industry, right? So like you called out, the manufacturing industry, there are multiple data points that a manufacturing industry is already capturing, right? I'll take a very simple example. We have all manufacturing plants have production layouts, right? They have workshops. Now, these workshops can be very, very sensitive areas. There's heat, there is, let's say, metal, which is, you have to be really careful with. So people are supposed to be in their certain protective kits.
Yeah.
Then you have to monitor people. They could be working with something which is so sensitive that, after a
chemicals and all those kind
correct,
of things.
exactly. So all those kind of things. Now, what do? I have cameras installed all over the place. Typically, how I would do, every camera, or let's say a couple of cameras, are monitored by a human to see what is going on in each of the camera, right? Imagine the kind of fatigue and imagine the kind of effort that goes
Vigilance
in.
and effort that needs to
Correct. One slip from the human and you probably missed a disaster.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely not something that we would want on our watch, right? Now think of this as you have AI sitting there in the middle, watching thousands of cameras at the same time. Not one single camera recording goes out of the vision or radar of this particular AI. So at any given point of time, I know what's happening on all the cameras. And the minute there's an anomaly, I see somebody walking without a helmet, that immediately gets flashed on the centralized monitoring board. There's a hooter which gets activated. And in that zone where I found the person without the helmet, there is an automated message which goes, please wear your helmets.
Wow.
Right? So these are the kind of,
really.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, right, mind-blowing in the chat if you can just kind of see all the places where this can be used, right?
Yeah.
And reducing human fatigue is so powerful,
Absolutely,
right? Like I love that fact, right? Like,
absolutely, Ankita. I mean, fatigue, yes, that's monitoring fatigue. That's exactly what we're trying to talk about here. And there are multiple such scenarios wherein, let's say, for example, again, there are certain, like recently I was on a visit to a steel plant. They create these massive, large steel, pipes, which are the raw material to a lot of other industrial. How do I monitor the quality of these steel bars? Imagine if a human has to do it. It's hot. It's impossible to be standing there and monitoring, visually trying to monitor the quality of each of the steel bars. Here again, we have computer vision, which is going to monitor every aspect of that bar which is produced and whether it meets the standard or not. It doesn't even go out for the delivery. It just stays inside, gets rerouted, saying that this is a defective piece, go back. That's essentially, now this is the productivity that we're improving from quality perspective, right? So there are multiple such areas where we've seen, AI make great dents when it comes to productivity and so on and so forth. Again, visual inspection is one thing, but there is also a lot of the way a machinery is, the way the machinery is being utilized. The settings, right? Every operator is supposed to know how the machine works. But if it so happens that I'm a new operator, I may not know what is the optimized set of the of that particular machine, right? That's where AI again can guide me gently, saying that why don't you do the settings as this, and that's going to be your output. Now, this is again, these are all preemptive measures to make sure that our quality is better, our safety is better, and so on and so forth.
Mission critical, especially things, right? It
Absolutely,
becomes
absolutely. Yeah, yeah,
extremely
yeah.
important. Amazing.
Sounds good. So, for founders listening in here who are juggling so many things, right? It's great when we saw the use cases that you explained, right? So, I love coming back to the startups and our world as
Yeah,
well. So,
absolutely.
what is this one small AI implementation that can create a big impact, in whether it's a service oriented business like consulting or coaching, or like
Yeah.
founders here, right? Like we're just starting now.
Correct. So, Ankita, I mean, definitely, I think when we talk about, if I very specifically talk about founders and smaller organization, couple of areas I see very specifically, if you're talking about a services industry, there is tremendous value in having automation, AI to help you automate your email responses, your
Uh-huh.
lead qualification, reaching out to people, your content creation. I'm sure you'll be making so many pitches during the day. More or less, of course, the core of your pitch is the same, but there is so much of variations that you build, right? Creation of content, your thought process. Once you teach AI what is your tonality that you need, and what is the main value system that you want to, what is the main messaging that you want to give out,
Yeah.
it's so easy to create content, customized content. You can create it in multiple languages. You know we're doing this for one of our customers. They record a video in one single language. We help them dub it along with lip sync in 12 Indian languages.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
So essentially, it means you, as a founder, you just record it once and then you have it play in multiple languages across the globe, and you can just keep sharing it in to whichever region. So there are multiple such productive usage that we can do from the content creation for productivity management of founders. Like I said, of course, your calendar, your FAQs. So I also, as somebody who is into AI, we also, what we do is we have our own versions of ChatGPT which we've trained. It is trained to respond to an email or an or a question or a query the way I would respond to it.
That's like an agent, right? Like that's an
Absolutely. Yeah,
agent,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So that's
So
the
like a
agentic AI which is being talked about these days. Is that what it is?
Uh, agentic AI is slightly different. It's a little
Mhm.
more complex. We'll possibly come to agentic AI. We'll touch agentic AI also, but this is more like mimicking my style, my language, my thought
Mhm.
process, and
Like
helping.
cloning yourself, basically.
Absolutely, absolutely. So
Ah,
think of
okay.
something that was, so next time, every time for example, there's so many client meetings that I have to go to, right? Every time what I do is uh, I just go to this particular ChatGPT version and I have asked them, like, give me a dump. I mean, give me a detail about this particular client. What are they currently doing? Why have they been in latest for news, and so on and so forth. And I get a complete dossier of everything that I need to know about that client. Along with that, because that my AI knows what I do, it immediately connects the work that I do to them. So that contextualization is also something that is brought about by AI. So these are productivity tools which I think every founder should definitely use. Content creation, productivity monitor, improving your own productivity, managing your own calendars and emails responses, and so on and so forth. I think that's a entire set of tools, free of cost, freemium ones, all of them available with very little integrations. They can really work well for a lot of founders, I feel.
That's amazing. And while we speak about how efficiencies can be improved and mindset needs to be changed, say I'm launching a business today.
Okay.
What are the three things I should do to build an AI first culture from the word go?
Uh, okay, AI first culture. Now let me think a little about this. So if I am a founder, I would, let's say the first thing, Zareen, that I would do is define my AI sweet spots. Again, coming back to the same conversation that we've been doing. When I say AI sweet spots, again, what is my matrix? Where do I want to go? And in that journey, where all can AI support
Fit
me?
in. Yeah.
Those are going to be my sweet spots.
Right.
Right. So once I identify as a founder, let's say I'm talking about a product, I'm thinking of developing a product for the market, or a platform for a market, or a service for a market. What is that my service is going to solve? What is the problem statement that my service is going to solve? Or what is the statement that my platform is going to solve? So let's say, for example, as a founder, I'm looking at a content creation platform. Now, in this content creation platform, I can definitely have AI do the hyper personalization. I know the content Zari needs. I know the content Mankita needs. Know the content with Trupti needs. So that's going to be my AI powered platform, right? My product. So that's the DNA of my product, wherein AI is going to help me hyper personalize my offering to my every end customer, which
Right.
typically is absolutely not thinkable of otherwise,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Second, very important mindset, Zareen, we have to remember is build the mindset of experimentation. See, AI is an emerging tech.
This we're talking about from the employees we're getting in, right? From the culture of the employees we're getting in. The
Yes,
mindset
employees
towards
and
pro
correct,
this, right?
absolutely. And not just the employees, also the founders themselves, right?
Absolutely,
So
yes.
there has to be we have to cultivate and
Curiosity,
a curiosity and
openness.
an experimentation. Yes, where every mistake becomes a place to learn, because that's exactly what machine learning does, right?
Yeah.
Every time you
Yeah.
give a thumbs up to a machine learning, it's learning that okay, this answer was right, and I'm going to do more and more of this. Every time you give the thumbs down to a machine learning algorithm, it learns that okay, this was wrong. Now I have to find another way of doing it.
Yeah.
That's essentially a very, very important thought process for us to cultivate experimentation. Trying to nail something right the first time, at least when it comes to AI, is not really the right
Not
way of
happening.
doing it. Not
Yeah.
happening, because there is one, this tech is evolving. Secondly, there is so much of potential in this tech, depending on what we are making it do or the way we can structure this tech. The outcome can be it's only our imagination which limits the outcome, I feel. So that's a very
Right.
important mindset that I think we all need to keep in mind, that it has to be a experiential this. And I think a more technical thought process that I have to probably highlight at this point of time is the data. We need a basic data strategy in place, because see, fundamentally for AI to perform, data is the platform on which AI can be built, right? I'm not saying we need to have tons and tons of data, but yes, we need data, right? The more the data, the better the quality of data, the better the output of AI. Correct? It's like garbage in, garbage out, that kind of a
Totally.
thought
Yeah.
process, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So irrespective of whichever business you are in, whichever process you are in, make sure that every single
I think Tripti had a little
Yeah.
glitch.
So
In the
some
meanwhile,
we
in the
missed
meanwhile,
that we
sorry,
can
go ahead.
see subsequently.
sorry,
Mm.
missed you for like 5 seconds, Tripti.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Can you now hear me again?
Yes, we can hear
Yes,
you.
yeah.
We can hear you.
Okay. So what I was saying is, it's very important to have a data strategy in place. A basic data strategy doesn't mean that you build a data lake right on day one, right? It's not happening, will not happen, and need not
A
need it
data
also.
strategy, you mean in what form I am taking in my data? I'm collecting my data?
Yes, more than what form, it is making sure that every interaction that I'm having with every stakeholder of the business, be it your end clients, be it your internal stakeholders, be it your vendors, be it your suppliers, whoever it is, every conversation or every transaction that is happening, that needs to be documented and tagged in the right place, right? So then you can then go back and say, how do I improve this function? I have all of this data with me. Now let me see how this function can be improved, right?
Right.
So a basic data strategy is something that we definitely need when we are wanting to talk about an AI first thought process.
Amazing. I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, primarily you're training AI to become data scientist within the organization.
Pretty much, yes. Yes.
So, what are some of your favorite AI tools for early stage entrepreneurs?
Okay. Some of my favorite tools, one definitely has to be the meeting, summation tools. There are
Like
so
the
many
otters and
meetings.
all of the world, like the
Absolutely.
TLDBs and the
Otters.
fly AIs, and
Yeah,
now
yeah,
apparently
absolutely, absolutely.
GPT is also integrating with Google, right? And
Yes,
making that life
absolutely,
much
absolutely.
easier.
So
Yes,
you using AI meetings, meeting summations,
yes,
not to the extent of summation of a meeting. It also calls out who's supposed to do what.
yeah.
The
Action
line of
items.
action
Yes,
items and mails get sent to the person on whose name
yes,
the action
yes,
item is. I think that's a tremendous value add that I find in my day-to-day working. Sri.
yes.
The other thing, of course, I very heavily use ChatGPT. I
Of course.
very have heavily use Bard. I use these for my research. Like I said, I have a client I want to meet. I'm going to put punch in the name and say, okay, give me a background, give me a financial background, give me an operational background, tell me who are the top people here in this company, what is the problem statement that that industry is facing. Imagine if I, as a human, had to sit and do this research on my own, it would have been
Absolutely.
hours and hours of work, right?
Correct.
Here, on the other hand, ChatGPT, Bard, they do it for
Quality
me
of
in the
conversation just become better that you're having with your
absolutely,
clients, right?
absolutely,
So it just
absolutely.
helps you have better conversations and be more careful of other people's time and mindful of other people's time.
Absolutely, absolutely. So these are two things that and again, Canva. Canva is something I
Of course, yeah.
extensively use, not
Yeah.
just for for my presentation making, for my, for the decks that we create, presentations that we
Yeah.
make, the flyers that we send out.
Yes.
There are so many times there are small snippets that I need to send to my client for them to understand a particular use case or a particular problem statement. All of that, beautifully templatized. My templates are already fed into Canva. All I have to do
Yes.
is call out that template and it just gets done. So imagine the kind of formatting time and
Yeah.
effort and the
The
human
type of
error.
words and alignments and
Absolutely.
all of
And
that.
the scope for human error, right? Once I've perfected the template, I don't need to worry about the template going haywire and so on and so forth. So
Yeah.
that's absolutely, these are a couple of things that I swear by, and I think I very, very extensively use these.
But there's so many that come in the market. Every time I'm on Instagram, there's some new AI tool which has come on, and I'm like, oh my God, I don't know this. I have major FOMO that
I
happens.
can
And I
understand.
keep sending my team, ye research karna, wo research karna, ye karna,
Mhm.
kuch hota nahi hai
Yeah.
because you're also busy, right? Doing
Right,
what we're doing.
exactly. Yeah, as
But
a part of BAU. So that's a very interesting thought, Zareen. What we do as a company, of course, see, we are in the business of implementing AI, right? For us, it's practically bread and butter that we understand everything that's going on in AI.
yes,
So what we do as a mandate is continuous learning is something that is absolutely mandated in our DNA. Every day, the entire team spends 30 minutes in the morning, first thing in the morning, to talk about what is the latest that I've seen in the market, which
mm,
might help the entire team, which might help
right.
our businesses, which might help my customers. I think that's a fundamental, again, one very strong skill that we need to generate, that we need to inculcate into us about continuous learning,
And
right?
as entrepreneurs and also founders and also in their team, right?
Absolutely.
It's
Love
something
that.
which is
Yeah.
non-negotiable. You have to learn
Correct.
every day.
We have to learn every day, and we have to learn every day and share every day, because
Yes.
that's when we get feedback, we understand, because we might not understand the complexity of it in one go.
Yeah.
So there are always somebody who can look at it from a different angle and a different perspective.
And breaks the traditional mindset of my knowledge is only mine. You know.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So
Very
I
true.
think
Very
that's
true.
one of those other mindset things that it calls
Correct.
upon, right? That
Yeah.
everybody
Yeah. Yeah.
together as a team talks about different AI things that they're working with and using
Correct.
and shares
Yeah.
that.
And to a large extent, takes care of the overwhelm,
Yeah.
helps you, separate the noise from the actuals, and
Right.
then helps you move forward in a much more conscious manner. That I know there are multiple tools, but I think for my piece of work, or for my matrix that I'm aiming at, this
Yeah.
tool is going to help me do what I need to do. I think that has helped us tremendously as an organization, Zareen.
Thank you for sharing that, Trupti. But is there a simple way to assess whether part of a workflow is AI automable? Like, can you make these workflows automable in some way?
Yes, we definitely have a framework for that, right? So a couple of things that what we call it is, one, whether the task is repeatable. So that's the first thing that you need to check. Okay.
Mm.
Like I said, the simple example that I gave, I have meetings that I need to attend every day. Now, this is something that is a repeatable task. Of course, the client changes, but the thought process remains the same, right? Every time I have a meeting, I need to do my background story, my background research. That's
Then
the
you go to Bard
repetitive.
and GPT.
Correct. So there's a repetitiveness involved in the task that I'm trying to automate, right? Second one, is it rule based? If it's rule based, it's obviously so much more easier to automate, right? Like I said, rules. I can set rules that I need financial information, I need people information, I need operational information, I need information about, let's say, their funding status, so on and so forth. Correct. Now, this is the second parameter for me to understand which of the ones, whether this particular task can be automated, should be automated or not. Can be is a different story, should be, right? And the third very important aspect is high volumes. You obviously want to target something which is high volume, right? Something which is repetitive, something which is rule based, something that is high volume. Now, this is where you're going to see the most ROI in your automations, very specifically using AI, right? So, why would you put in the effort where if it's a one time task? Eventually, when you don't have the constraint of resources, you might want to do that too. But for now, the lower hanging fruit is going to be a repetitive task, something which can be very easily based on, which is rule based and which is high volumes, right? So, simple, a very good example for this is your invoice processing. You have standard invoices coming in, you know what to pick in, you have the amounts, you have the supplier name, you have the dates, and so on and so forth, right? So, that processing can be very easily automated. What you can't or you cannot automate is your strategy.
Of course.
Creative strategy. How will you do that, right? That's where your human flavor comes into picture.
But
Right?
GPT tells you a lot of things on how to do it.
Yeah, of course, of course. But again,
Of
see,
course, you work over that.
yeah, because again, the contextualization of that for your business,
Yes.
again,
The
all of
prompt
that is
itself makes all the
correct,
difference.
correct. So when we talk about from the point view of what should be automated and what should be AI fied, if I may say so, and the priority to it, operations is a perfect place where you can start. Strategy is something that you should let humans do it. Free the bandwidth of humans from the operations to do the strategy and the creative thinking. Because AI cannot generate a new strategy for you. AI is going to tell you 10 strategies which have already been used all around the
Existing or
world.
done.
Exactly. Right? So that's the fundamental prioritization that you should keep in mind. If I want to start with operations, then move to then of course,
The
use that
rest,
bandwidth.
stack it up.
Correct. Yes, absolutely.
Right. And we have a few minutes left. So I just want to ask and touch upon this point that we all talk about, that we mentioned that, AI should serve humanity, right? How do we stay ethical and mindful and heart-led in this new AI world?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think a very, very important question at that. And one thing I think, Zareen, like I keep saying, AI is not here to replace, it's here to augment. If we have to be very, very conscious about this. From my perspective, the other way of looking at this is when we are talking about being heart-led, we there is a very, very important aspect of AI, that is your responsible AI. Right? Whatever AI we are developing has to be explainable. It has to be fair. It has to be free of biases. Right? So all of these conditions, it has to be free of. We shouldn't be carrying human biases into the AI algorithms that we're building. And how do we do this? This is all through the fundamentals of responsible AI, transparency, and again, data privacy, protecting human rights. There's so many things which come into picture when we're talking about how we're building our AI. And I'm so happy to say that more and more AI builders are becoming so much more conscious about what they're building, not training on data, training sets which are not legally obtained. There's so many places that we now have we have communities now which are coming together saying that we are going to train our data, we are going to train our algorithms only on data sets which are ethically sourced.
Amazing.
So on. So I think there's a very, very strong human aspect to AI. Like I said, one, of course, we're using it to augment human capabilities and not replace. And secondly, making sure that whatever we are building is a responsible AI and is ethical AI. Right? So if we're very cognizant of these two facts, I'm sure we are going to be, the humanness of that AI that we're building is there to stay.
So
Amazing.
nicely put. So what are the trends in AI that entrepreneurs should keep an eye on for the next 12 to 18 months?
Okay.
And
Uh, Trends, the very first thing that comes to my mind is, of course, multimodal generative AI. So when, like I was talking about, right? Currently, typically we are doing text to text, speech to speech, so on and so forth. When I say multimodal, is
Text
essentially
to
means
video, text
text to
to,
video, text to
right.
speech, prompt to videos,
Yes.
so on and so forth, right? It can transcend what is the input and what the
Mm.
output that you're looking at. We have some, tools now available, which on the basis of one single line of prompt can develop videos for me. It's that complex. So that is something we definitely should be watching out. Agentic AI that you mentioned, Ankita, that's a
Tell us a
topic,
little
I
bit
think.
about that. Tell us a
Yes,
little bit
yes,
about agentic.
definitely.
yeah,
I think in very short, if I can put it in simple words, we all have workflows, right? Workflows as in step one, step two, step three to do something that we are aiming at, right? Now, what we mean by agentic is earlier AI was pretty much concentrated on doing one particular task, automating one task, right? Let's say, for
Right.
example, document generation was one task. Now, what I'm doing is I'm adding multiple tasks which are getting automated, and an entire workflow is being automated. Now, that essentially means I'm creating an autonomous agent who's also taking decisions.
Hmm.
Correct. So in fact, it's an agent which is deciding. Coming back to the customer engagement, that function, right?
Yeah.
So if a customer wants to know that, I've not received my product, I need a refund.
Hmm.
Now the agentic AI at the back end will go and look at the refund process. It looks at what is the criteria of a refund. It
And
looks
makes a
whether the
decision.
exactly. It looks whether your parcel has been delivered or not. If it is being not been delivered as yet, it will look at the reason why it is not delivered. If it is a reason which is
Where
already
is it stuck?
fed, exactly. And on the basis of all of this, it says, okay, I can offer you a refund. It has a threshold that it has been approved of. It will go ahead and complete the refund transaction
Wow.
without a manual intervention.
Yeah.
That when you see, there are multiple steps that the agent has done, not
Yeah.
just one single step,
And
right?
save so much time. Yeah.
Exactly. Now that, Ankita, essentially is the agentic part of the story that we're talking about. So from automating singular tasks, we are now talking about automating multiple tasks and creating an entire flow out of it, which is then, if then else. If this happens, do this. If not this, then do this. That entire flow is what is an agentic workflow that we're talking about.
got
Wow.
it.
So
Yeah,
exciting
that's
times ahead for all of us.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I'd love to take this time to also throw the questions open to everybody. Shaurya has been really incredible on the chat and has been updating us. He definitely seems like he is a guru of AI. That's what he said right at the beginning. Do we have any questions here from the audience? Anybody who wants to pick Tripti's brain? Tripti is also available at connect@networkscience.com, right? Sakshi, can you just paste Tripti's email ID if anybody wants to connect with her and ask her more and ask her team to help you guide you on AI journeys for your own organizations? Please feel free to connect with Tripti. Tripti's been very kind to offer her time to this group of people who've joined in. Any questions from
Definitely.
anybody?
Uh, can I
Yes.
go ahead?
Yes, please,
Sorry.
please.
Hi, Trupti.
Hi, Manju.
We
Hi.
can't see you, Manju.
yeah, we can see him.
I can.
Yeah, you can. All right,
Yeah,
all
yeah,
right.
yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah, yeah.
We'll
Yeah,
just
it's
spotlight him.
more tan, so I hope
Yes.
you
Oh,
couldn't
no,
able to
please.
see.
Yeah.
So, Trupti, actually, we are looking for a solution that, like building up the virtual agent so
Mm-hmm.
that, see, basically, I'll explain what exactly we are looking for is.
Okay.
We run the multiple ads over the social media platforms. Let's take
Right,
Instagram
right,
or Facebook.
right.
So the customers, the tendency of the customers is, whenever they see the mobile number or our contact numbers,
Mm-hmm.
they used to call back us. Is there any way that we can create the virtual agents,
Absolutely.
IBM Watson? We have tried to reach. The costing is so expensive, and we have tried with multiple vendors, but the training of AI, those guys are not expertise into it.
Okay. Okay.
I
So
was
Manju,
actually I was with IBM as an
oh,
enterprise cloud
okay,
architect.
okay, okay.
So I worked
Nice.
on ChatGPT in the year of 2008. It was NLPs, natural language processes,
Oh,
during that time.
okay.
So I could correlate many of the workflows as you going through the complete thing. So you offer any sort of the
Absolutely, Manju. After this, please do reach out. We can
yeah
definitely help you. We have multiple, of course, IBM Watson and things like that, because there are more enterprise-driven
yeah
solutions. We have something that can cater to small businesses. These are
uh-huh.
SaaS platforms, very easily deployable. They learn from your own data that you have and can start answering and can start responding to very contextual questions that a client has for your business. So yes, and the deployment time is as less as 3 to 4 weeks, and we can get that all sorted for you. Just reach out to me. We'll definitely take this
Yeah,
conversation
thanks a
ahead.
lot, Trupti. That would be
Yeah,
great help.
yeah.
And apart from that, I just wanted to add certain, the current researches, what we are working with Government of India.
Okay,
I'm basically a farming background now. So
okay,
we are working with ISRO as well as ICAR. Let's take a
okay.
scenario like, the GPS is there, right? So
Correct.
through the satellites, rather than going with the manual soil, testing and all. So by using the AI algorithms, we are in the process of, then and there, the farmer could request for, soil testing and also by using the satellite images and understanding the
Amazing.
metabolism in the soil, so it can
Interesting.
give the report then and there itself, what kind of a crops he can grow, and in fact crop protection as well they can do by AI. So
Correct.
how exactly the upcoming season, what sort of a precautions,
Yeah,
preventive actions he can take.
That's amazing.
yeah,
And
yeah,
Trupti, I must
absolutely.
also tell you, Manju does some great work in educating farmers across South
Wow.
India on the best way to farm. He does some amazing work. So you guys
We
must
should,
connect.
yeah,
He's doing
absolutely,
some
Manju. I
great work.
agree. I
He's an
agree.
engineer turned farmer.
Yeah, that's
Thank
awesome.
you,
That's
Sharina.
awesome.
He gets
So I
the
say
best of both
definitely,
worlds.
Manju. I think we should. There is so much that is happening on AI and agriculture, right?
Yeah,
Drones, like you're saying, soil monitoring, water level monitoring, health monitoring of the crops, satellite navigation.
yeah.
They're just weather prediction. All of that. There's so much happening in AI and agriculture. In fact, now that we're talking about agriculture and nature, there is one very interesting use case that I just thought I should share. There's something called as Cry Wolf Project.
Hmm.
I mean, do search for it. It's such an amazing application of AI. We keep talking about how AI should help humanity, but I'm sure there's so many more species which need to be, can be also helped with the
Yeah.
help of AI. So Cry Wolf is something wherein essentially they're reading, they record, sounds from the nature. There's a
Ah,
continuous recording going on, and using AI algorithms, they identify the sound of wolf in that entire thing.
mm-hmm.
So you can identify wolf cries, what is the best, when is the time of the day that they cry, howl the most, and so on and so forth. And obviously now the question is why? Why would I do something like this, right? There are so many human wildlife, conflicts which are happening, especially when you have livestock, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
wolves are a big concern.
Yeah.
So they're actually using AI to communicate to the wolf packs that
Mhm.
listen, you don't need to come here.
Okay.
So
Wow.
it's just like, there's this, the
Yeah. Are
possibilities
endless
are
really.
endless.
And
Exactly,
I am
exactly.
talking about endless possibilities. Shilpa is asking, how does AI help intellectual property rights, right? Like the bill.
Yes,
I've been
yeah,
told
yeah.
recently that nobody owns anything that is made on any AI.
Exactly.
That's
That's one. And to be very honest, yes, there have been digressions. There's, if you see, if you know Perplexity, it's one of
yes.
the one of the better known aggregators of LLMs. They are fighting millions of cases across the
Mhm.
world. Simple point being, I've written something, you are training your LLM on my content, and now you or are making money out of it. So yes, IP rights is a concern and will continue to be a concern because there are very few black and white answers that we have to these. But yes, when it comes to there is, when I talk about ethical AI, when I talk about responsible AI, more and more the thought process is that anything that is getting created by AI has to be tagged as created by AI.
Yes.
The minute
So some
that
simple thing as if you're using to write, just say that is an AI
absolutely,
enabled thing,
absolutely.
right?
I think that it's of course a very basic step, but that kind of brings a lot of awareness to a lot of people that are using. For example, recently we had a court case wherein a young teenager was, using a counseling service, and unfortunately it ended up
Was
in a very
talking to
bad
a
yes,
bot,
it was
right?
talking
Yeah.
to a bot,
Yeah.
not realizing that he or she's talking to a bot. The
Mm.
child went on giving details to the bot and then ultimately ended his life, and it was a very, very sad day. But unfortunately, it was possibly the app also is equally responsible for not making the teenager know that he's talking to a
Yeah.
bot and not to an actual human. So
Mm.
these are kind of things. Yes, it is a gray area. I agree. IP rights, and at the same time, there is a lot of work happening there to make sure that we don't fall into these devices again.
Thanks, Trupti.
Right.
I mean,
Thank
I
you.
really appreciate that, giving 1 hour of your time and, educating all of us on particularly the AI is, this is the phase that everybody has to adopt the technology to emphasize their
Absolutely.
businesses. And we would like to, convey our best regards to Zeren and Ankita to host this,
Thank you so much.
beautiful
Thanks,
podcast.
Manju.
Thank
Looking
you.
Thank
forward
you,
to
Manju.
speaking
Really
to you
helps
I'd
after
us.
also
this.
like to take
Yeah.
this opportunity, just like Manju, all you founders out there, if you have any business ideas that you're working on and you need a team to help you just brainstorm and trash it out, please feel free to contact us. Karthik or Sakshi, please put the link here. Book a time with us. We would love to spend this time with you. I mean, all of us have been in that space, especially who've quit corporate. I think all three of us here for sure, Trupti,
Yeah.
Ankita, and I all had fledgling corporate careers, and we decided one day, no, this is not what we want to do. We want to switch and start
Absolutely.
something of our own. If you want more clarity on your business idea, your pricing strategies, your promotion, your messaging, please feel free to book a call with us. Normally we charge about 15,000 bucks for an hour and a half session that we do, where we deep dive in your field and solve for specific cases. If you're stuck, if you're thinking, because you guys have been a great audience, please, we're going to give it to you for 5,000 rupees. Please connect with us. Sakshi or Karthik, can we have the link here, please?
Yeah,
Amazing.
they've
Yeah,
dropped it.
it's been put here. So just book a call with us, and we would love to ideate. Oh, so sweet. Shaurya saying he's going to do it for free. Shaurya, we must connect. You can be our agentic or whatever bot. No, but you've been really a great guest, Shaurya, and everybody who has been here. And to just sum up, Ankita.
Yes, View, that was a masterclass, Tripti. I just wanted to say thank you so much. You helped
Thank
us
you.
to zoom out, zoom in, and seriously demystify what it takes to become an AI friendly business. Here's what
Thank
we
you.
are taking away with AI isn't something of future. It's right now the tool sets for the founders were really helpful, and it'll, of course, help founders to work smarter. You don't and especially the fact that you said you don't need a fancy team or deep pockets. Just start with a
Yeah,
curious mind,
absolutely.
start with experimentations, and clearly the problems are going to solve for.
Yeah.
And most importantly, AI done right frees up your energy, right? I loved when you gave that example of that whole energy drain that happens looking at cameras.
And I also love the
So,
fact that Trupti said that strategy can't be replaced by any AI, so we'll all still have our
Absolutely.
jobs.
Yeah, we all.
But if you loved today's episode, and I know you did, share it with a founder friend, drop us a review, follow us on Instagram or LinkedIn. We are Zach Business Consultants, Ankita and myself, Zareen. And for
Zaren, I'm sorry
real
to
talk,
interrupt. Is
yes,
there
yes.
any payment link will be shared over the here? We could have
You will just click on that link, and
Yeah.
once you go there, Karthik is going to help you take it forward.
a link has been okay.
There's a
Got
link
it.
here that
Got it.
Karthik has
Got it.
put. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Got
awesome.
it.
So please connect so that we can chat more. And for more real talk sessions every Thursday at 4 p.m.
Yeah.
IST. Until next time, keep your heart in your hustle. This is Zareen signing off from the Founders Fire. Lots of love. Have a fabulous week. Lots of love, Trupti. Thank you so much for
Thank
blowing
you,
my
Trupti.
mind.
Lots of love to you. Bye.
Thank you
And
so
everybody
much.
here.
Bye.
Big
Bye.
hug to you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you,
Okay.
everyone, for joining.
And
Have
thanks,
a
everyone.
super weekend up ahead. Take care.